Alright, so you're probably a student that's probably gonna start school, college, university, whatever it is, and you need a new laptop. And a gaming laptop has definitely gone through your mind, and you are wondering, is this a good purchase as a full-time student? Will it affect how I work at school? Will it affect how I get my work done? Well, being a full-time student that used a gaming laptop for a little under a year, I think I know what it is like to use a gaming laptop as a student. And now using the Dell XPS 15, I also have tasted that. So being able to taste both worlds, I think I know what good and what bad you get from each side. And I think I can tell you and answer your question whether you should get a gaming laptop being a student. So let's begin. So when I got my first gaming laptop, the Dell 7567 15700 gaming laptop, that laptop was chunky, it had red accents, and it was the regular gaming laptop stereotype that we had about a year or 2 years ago. However, ever since, the gaming industry or the gaming laptop industry has been evolving at an insane rate. We no longer get laptops that just have red accents slapped on it. We no longer just get super thick Alienware designed laptops. We now get thin laptops that have actually nice displays, almost bezel-less displays, and are actually slim for once. So laptops like the Razer Blade 15, the Aero 15X, and the new MSI Stealth laptop or whatever, they all are able to give you gaming laptop specifications while also keeping a form factor of a normal Ultrabook or just a regular thin laptop. And that's why I really want to answer this question of whether a gaming laptop is good, because my answer that I would have given you 2 years ago has drastically changed. Because being a student, you have to be able to transport your laptop with your work from class to class or from place to place really quick. And being able to have a thin laptop to quickly grab, boom, you're in your next class, you can start working, is a lot easier than having to have a chunky laptop around you. It's heavy too, it's just wide for your bag, and it's just a lot more harder to, it just has bad portability. That's what I'm trying to say. And that stereotypical gaming laptop design has now changed. So if you were afraid of having a chunky laptop, well, you don't have to have that option. Yes, there are still chunky, big gaming laptops that you can get, but if you really have the budget, you can also get a thin gaming laptop and it'll be just as good, if not better. So when it comes to design, you shouldn't really be worried about anything. If you have the budget, you can get a nice laptop that looks nothing like a gaming laptop, or if you're cheaper on a budget, you can definitely just get a chunky laptop. But once again, as a student that had a chunky laptop, and now being someone that uses the XPS 15, the portability and the nice form factor is super helpful, and I think is something that you should definitely consider as a student. So the next thing that I personally looked at when buying a gaming laptop was battery life, because it's generally obvious that a gaming laptop has lower battery life than most common laptops. So a gaming laptop generally has about 2-3 hours of battery life even without gaming on it. So that was one thing that I was shocked at first, and I kind of was hesitant to get a gaming laptop because of that. That is why I decided to get the Dell 7567. This laptop had like 97 watt hours of battery or something, but the goal here for me was to get a laptop with over at least 6 hours of battery life, and the 7567 has 10 hours of battery life on the non-4K model, and my 4K model got about 8 hours of battery life, so it was equal to a regular laptop. However, with the new successor, the 7577, the battery life just went down because they used a smaller battery, and I think you can only get about 5 hours with that. And being a student, I think having a laptop that has a big battery or a big battery life is definitely something that you should think about, because you don't want to carry your charger everywhere you go, and you might not even have time to charge your laptop, and your desk might be away from the wall, or it could just get really messy, and you don't want to have that stress in your mind thinking, is my battery dead? Should I put it on power saving mode? And I think that should be a huge thing. And thankfully, with new laptops like the Razer Blade 15, Aero 15X, all that good stuff, the battery lives are so much better now. They're a lot more optimal for daily use, and not just for keep it on top of your desk and keeping it always charged. I mean, what's the point of buying a laptop if portability isn't given enough thought of. So thankfully we have gaming laptops now that have good battery life. Even if it's not as good as the XP 15 or whatever would give you, it's still, if it passes 6 hours of battery life, and if you use the power saving options, you know, reduce your resolution, reduce your brightness, you can definitely squeeze out about 7 hours of battery life, and I think that should be decently good enough, at least for just basic use. If you're using Word and stuff like that, that should be good. So battery life should be a huge concern. So if you see a nice laptop, a gaming laptop under $1,000, you might want to type up the model on Google, and usually I look at this website called Laptop Reviews or Notebook Reviews or something. I'll put a link in the description, but they always have a good understanding of what the battery life is on an average daily use. So I think that should be a huge concern being a student. Battery life is key, and make sure you get a gaming laptop that has good battery life. So now I've given you 2 warnings. 1, get a good design laptop, something that's easy to move around. 2, make sure that it has good battery so that you can work throughout the whole day, especially being a student that has to be working all day. 3rd, I'm going to give you something good, something to be happy about getting a gaming laptop. So right now I'm rocking the Dell XP 15, and this thing has a GTX 1050 and a Core i7 7700HQ. Now if I hadn't told you that this was my XP 15 specs, you would have definitely thought that this was, you know, a low or mid-end gaming laptop. However, there's one drawback to having a non-gaming laptop, and that is the fact that these engineers that work on these laptops pay less attention to how it would perform on gaming conditions. So yes, my XP 15 can handle pretty much any games, mostly at 60 FPS and above, but here's the problem. They never thought about the cooling system that well. So this laptop was engineered for mostly office work, a little bit of video editing, and just spreadsheets, and just a productive work in general, and it's great for students. But watching this video, you definitely are a gamer or you are a heavy demanding user, and I want to let you know that if you buy a non-gaming laptop with big specs, keep in mind that the cooling may not be good. So something about the XP 15 is that the cooling is just super bad, and it'll start throttling within 20 minutes, and your performance just goes down. And having that i7 7700HQ is pretty much like having a i3U processor with an Intel HD graphics, and the 1050 just disappears automatically because of the throttling. Anyways, so you should know that when you buy a gaming laptop, the advantage that you have is that these engineers are making sure that this laptop can handle itself at gaming conditions. So if you have a gaming laptop with the same specs of my XP 15 and you run the same game, the gaming laptop, because of its better cooling designed to keep the laptop cool when gaming, will last longer and won't throttle and will give you a better experience overall. So if you see an Asus ZenBook, which has been known for its throttling, and even if you think that, oh, it's a thin laptop with amazing specs, keep in mind the throttling plays a huge role because of its bad cooling system. So before you buy your gaming laptop, make sure that even though it's a gaming laptop, just do some quick research and see how is it with cooling, how does it perform after gaming for over 1 hour. So heating and cooling and throttling, that kind of stuff should be keywords that you look at when looking up your laptop. Another thing that I kind of heard a lot is that gaming laptops have a lower lifespan compared to an Ultrabook, and I think that is one of the worst things I've heard, at least in my opinion. Here's what I mean. So any laptop can differentiate its lifespan, but not because of its specs or not because of its brand, most of the time at least, but usually based on what the user uses the laptop for and how the user uses it. So if the user daily plays video games and always like throttles the laptop like crazy, yes, the lifespan might drop down a little bit, especially on a laptop like an XPS that always seems to throttle. But just because you get a gaming laptop doesn't mean you have a low lifespan. In fact, when you pay for a gaming laptop, especially if you look at a gaming laptop about $1,000 with an Ultrabook that's about $1,000, you'll see that the gaming laptop for about $1,000 gives you more performance, more specs for that price point. That's because they don't really have to care about, oh, does the design look good? Is it thin? Is it an awesome looking laptop? They don't really care about that. Their goal is to give you the cheapest price for the best specs. So because of that, if anything, you're having a lower future-proof lifespan because your gaming laptop will be more future-proof ready in terms of specs than having an Ultrabook that, you know, mostly was designed for its design and form factor, where they paid less attention to giving future-proof specs, so your laptop will be outdated faster. So to wrap things up, what do I really think? What is my final answer? Should you get a gaming laptop for school, being a full-time student? Well, in my opinion, having used a gaming laptop and a just powerful non-gaming laptop, I do think that there are both pros and cons from getting each laptop. But in my opinion, like you can be entitled to your own opinion, and I gave you the facts, you can decide what you want. Being a student, I think, at least for me, I'm okay using a gaming laptop. But here's the thing, for my next laptop purchase in about 4 years, because I know this laptop can hold up, when I make that purchase, I'm going to get the new era of gaming laptops. I'm going to get a Razer Blade 15, so something that has good cooling, good specs, and a cool small form factor. So that's the kind of thing that I think is ideal for, you know, a student that also is kind of performance demanding, kind of like me. So that's what I would look into. However, that kind of era, that kind of industry of laptops are kind of new, so they're also expensive because, once again, a lot of them have bezel-less displays, and having to squeeze in such high specs into a small form factor is also expensive. So you're gonna be, you know, looking at around 3,000 plus Canadian dollars. If you are on a budget, should you buy a gaming laptop for about $1,000 or a regular VivoBook, whatever, Asus laptop for about $1,000? I think if you are still on a budget, I think you should get a gaming laptop. But here's the thing, you should make sure the battery life is ideal. So even if it's chunky, like the chunkiness and the design, red accents, they're all cosmetic, you know, it's not a huge deal to me, I don't really care. But the battery life should be something that you put a lot of thought into. You don't want to get a 2-hour battery life laptop just because it has better specs. So try to find a sweet spot that has a good battery life and good specs. Even if you're sacrificing design, if it has the battery life and the specs, I think that's better than having to go for a laptop that, you know, looks good and is, you know, a 2-in-1 and whatever, but bad specs. And, you know, especially if you're a performance user, you know, take the sacrifice of the heavy laptop. Just, you need the performance. Yeah, you need the performance. That's what I think. But I personally think laptops like the XPS 15 and the ZenBook series might slowly die off depending on the new generation. So when the Dell XPS 15 adds a new cooling system to support gaming, they will be transferred over to the gaming laptop side or the performance laptop side. Or if they choose to back down and stick with the bad cooling system, they're going to be pushed towards the side of laptops that are just mainly Ultrabooks, and it's going to be neglected. It's either going to be laptops that are expensive but have good specs, battery, and a nice design, or it's going to be cheap laptops that have a good design, bad specs, and good battery. So you know, you need to choose either one, but I'm going to stay to the performance side. Anyways, that is it for today's video. Is it possible to use a gaming laptop being a student? 100%, but depending on which one you get. So do your research, do all that good stuff, and get yourself an awesome beast this summer. So that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications for more future videos. And with that being said, this is Tech Alpha signing out with today's video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.